still at Fort Worth Indian for demo days. Next up, I'm going to take out the Indian Chief. It'll be the base model in pearl white smoke, just to see how it rides. This is the standard Chief in white, pearl white smoke, I believe they call the color. And a year ago, roughly, Indian redid the Chief. And they had the Chief Classic. They kept it around for a while, which was, you know, with the full valenced fenders, and it was a long bike. It was a big, heavy bike. And then they really trimmed it down and made the Chief. Now this is going to be more along the lines of the Softail lineup in the Harley lineup. About a year ago I did a demo ride on a Chief, Super Chief Limited. This one is the base model. It starts off around $14,499 if you want a black one. And the white adds a little bit of cost to it. And if you go up to the Limiteds and the Dark Horses and those, then they have a ride command module here in this center cluster. And on this bike, it's the old school, well, old school for modern Indians. Analog digital display down here where it's got your gear indicator, trip odometer, and you can toggle through a few different things. Got the power button here, fuel cutoff, cruise control on a bike of this price. In the white smoke, it's $14,999. So the bars, the lower slam bars, it's got the mid-mount pegs and feels exceptionally light, exceptionally lightweight. And the standard Chief has the Thunderstroke 111 V-twin as its power plant. Now if you go up to the Dark Horse and the Super Chief Limited, they are the 116 Thunderstroke, but this bike does not feel, when you're on it, it doesn't feel much heavier than a Scout. It's a little bigger than a Scout, but it doesn't feel it in terms of weight, as far as picking it up off of the kickstand. As far as out here on the freeway doing 70, it feels more planted than a Scout because, well, it is a heavier bike. This bike, this trim, this color even, this peg positioning is a possible upgrade bike for Rachel when the time comes. My wife Rachel is very happy with her Rebel 500, extraordinarily happy with her Rebel 500. But if we want to do longer distances, a heavier bike that'll feel more planted on the road with a little bit more comfortable suspension, cruise control, is something worth looking at. And she always likes white for motorcycles. Helps them be seen. I definitely do feel the road more. Have no wind protection at all, but with a windshield it'd take care of that. We're going into about a 20 mile an hour headwind right now, so really getting blown off the bike. But the seat doesn't feel bad. The mid-mount pegs for my inseam and my leg length are probably not the best. But if I try to think back to the Scout Rogue I took out earlier this morning, this is a more comfortable motorcycle. And let's see how it accelerates like a beast. Try to get caught up with everybody. I'm the sweep rider here, so I'm not holding anybody up. Okay, so controls. On the left, horn, high beams, flash to pass, turn signal, left-hand rider ball on the left-hand control pod. Hazards there as well. signals. The turn signals are self-canceling. Indian does it off of a basis of time and lean angle. Right side control pod, you've got the motorcycle power, you've got your fuel cutoff, and you've got cruise control down here. On the front of each control pod, you've got toggles that'll switch. Let's see, left side, there's my fuel range, 105 miles, trip odometer, trip odometer, trip 2, TAC, outside temperature. Right side control panel, we got ride modes. Cylinder deactivation, that's for when you're at a stoplight, the rear cylinder will deactivate, and that cuts down on the Indian Thunderstroke's infamous heat buildup. You just, turn that cylinder off and it doesn't get as hot. So that's ride mode and cylinder deactivate. So those are controlled with a little finger trigger on the right panel. And then aside from that, it's motorcycle. 6-speed transmission. The bike can be equipped with ABS. This base Chief, I do not believe is standard with it, but you can get it equipped with ABS. And again, you can upgrade to the Dark Horse model and get the ride command here in the center instrument cluster, which gives you navigation, which is with the weather overlay, your bike info, all of that stuff in a nice LCD screen. But since this bike can be outfitted as a Super Chief with bags and a windshield, you could just get that, which will have bags, a windshield, and floorboards, and a different set of bars. Or you could just upgrade it whenever and however you want. These are the stock bars on the Chief. The Chief bobbers. There's a Chief bobber and a Chief bobber Dark Horse. And again, the Chief bobber has the 111, the Thunderstroke 111, and the Dark Horse has the 116. Those are standard with the Mini Apes. Has a nice mean sound. Now they're gonna have forward pegs on the bobbers with the Apes. So yeah, I definitely could not handle this peg position. I don't get opportunity to stretch out, and it cramps my hips up pretty bad. All of my motorcycles that I've owned have had forward mounted pegs or floorboards. But my wife is smaller than I am, and this peg position might be a really good setup for her. So the hope is maybe we can get Rachel out here tomorrow when she's not working, and she might be able to take this bike around the block on one of the demos. And that is the 2022 Indian Chief. And the bike is super light, or at least it feels that way. But look at how big that engine is on it.